You have this just tell me once rule. What does that mean?
It means that the patient should only tell you their information once. So that means when they filled it out on the new patient information, no one should ever ask them again the questions that they answered on that sheet.
Okay.
Never. Same thing with the clinical information. Once you wrote down or put in the computer when the x-rays were taken or when the last FMX or what service was done last visit, we should never sit the patient down and ask them, so are you due for x-rays or what are you in for here today? And what it takes is actually a team meeting looking at every single system as to when the patient gave you the information. So to be current now, the patient is often filling out that information right at home on the computer.
It shows that you're communicating when you know.
It makes you money.
Okay.
It makes you money. You immediately transfer a certain element of trust.
Just tell me once rule. The patient should never have to
ask you the same thing twice
to another team member.
We should never ask the patient twice. It doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, the person that took the new patient phone call, the questions that you asked there, the information that they gave you, that's put into the computer, and whether it's the doctor, the hygienist, or the assistant, they all should know where that information is, and they know that it's rude and inconsiderate to tell the person.
Now, you have a hypersensitivity to this, so you see this going on wherever you are.
I guess I do. But I can give you.
These are your own pet peeves. Does everybody? I mean,
I know that it works. I know that we became more profitable, and the patients felt more important, and also that the patients referred other people. And let me give you a personal example. So I was a consultant for a large orthopedic practice. There were 5 doctors there, and I had the experience of having my daughter, who was in high school as a cross-country runner, come up lame. And I needed to take her to a doctor immediately, so I called up the orthopedic group that I was working for, right? And I gave them the reason. We went and sat down. This should flow like a great experience, shouldn't it? But I gave them the reason over the phone. When I arrived, the person at the front desk asked what we were there for. When we went back, the medical assistant asked what we were there for. When the doctor, who I know, who's my client, walked in, he asked what we were there for. And each and every time they mispronounced my daughter's name. My daughter's name is Signe, Signe. And 5 times they called her Sign. So she was in an emotional state anyway because she was afraid she wasn't going to,
Good.
But
Get the name right.
Get the name right. So when we left, though, I said, how do you feel, Signe? She's crying, saying, I don't really think he knows what he's doing. I just don't trust it. So I picked up the phone and called a friend, Dr. Lee Piatek, who's a personal friend. And I told the front desk, I called his office, told the front desk what the situation was. We went through what should have been the same experience, but it was entirely different. So I don't work with these people. They don't even know that I know Dr. Piatek, but the front desk person passed on the information to the medical assistant. The medical assistant pronounced the name right. The doctor, of course, pronounced the name right. And here's the interesting piece. Both doctors gave the exact same diagnosis and the exact same recommendation. When we left, and Signe didn't know Dr. Piatek, only I did, she was calm, felt listened to, felt important, and we made it through that next month of rehab with her. And really the difference was the patient never had to tell the information twice.
So with all of these things working, the credibility goes way up.
Way up.
And fear of making a mistake may go down.
Yep, exactly.
And possibly more likely to take your treatment.
You're right.
You think so?
No, I know so.
Okay.
Because we track all these numbers
Good.
And we know what the percentage is. And when there's so many practices experiencing a slump, instead of being pathetic or worrying about the situation, look to see if you at least practice this rule, right? So the name pronounced right.
Everybody needs to hear this, by
and
the
the
way.
patient,
This is great.
Thank you. And the patient never giving the same information twice. And if you don't have a system that addresses it, where you know where that information is, I promise you, you're asking the patient the same thing twice.